Welcome back to Nope, We're Not Monogamous. I'm Elisa Payne, your non-monogamous relationship coach, and today's episode exists, well, for a couple of reasons. Um, One, because episode 138 got way too long, and so if you're watching this, you'll see a little change happen here. But also because there is a piece of advice that gets passed around in non-monogamous spaces all the time, and while it's usually really well intentioned, it's also kind of incomplete. And the advice is to date separately if you're in an established couple, right? You're opening up. And usually people hear that because they're in an established relationship and they're thinking it would be easier to open up and date together, to date the same person, to maybe form a triad, to stay connected and safe while they're doing something new, which seems to make sense. Of course it does. Dating as a unit can seem like it would be less scary than letting your partner have a bunch of experiences that you're not a part of, and it can feel like a way to protect the relationship while still exploring non-monogamy. But the truth is that we don't always say out loud is that dating together is kind of like monogamy with extra steps or monogamy with extra people added in. Right? The couple stays at the center, the couple's comfort stays prioritized, the new partners end up orbiting the relationship instead of being met as full humans. And so the community response becomes date separately. Now, this might be what you want for your relationship, but as you'll hear later, it may not be what you'll actually get, right? Because the advice is like it's directionally right. Dating separately, however, is how you build autonomy and trust in your relationship. It's how you stop functioning as this like fused unit, this fused entity. And it's how you learn to tolerate the discomfort that can come with being non monogamous and not fitting into the mold of our society. It's a how you learn to tolerate the discomfort instead of just trying to manage it through control of your partners, control of your metamors. But the part that gets missed in this advice is that a lot of couples here date separately. They're told date separately, go date your own people, quit dating the same people. And so then they assume that that means that they're ready to open. They should just dive off the deep end and go do it. And sometimes they're not. Sometimes the issue isn't how you're dating. Sometimes it's that opening up at all is happening before there's nearly enough trust, safety, and communication to hold this expansion, right? If there's unresolved resentment, emotional shutdown, fear-based control, like fragile trust, dating separately isn't going to fix it. It will expose it a lot faster, right? It will shine a light underneath the bed where you'll see all the dust bunnies down there. Uh, so today I want to this little episode that I'm sharing with you is talking about something that doesn't get enough airtime, I don't think, and it's how to know when it's not yet time to open. Right? When it might be time to slow down. Maybe going back to the drawing board is actually the most ethical and self-honoring move that you can make. And going slow is not failure, it's literally a strategy, okay? And sometimes, actually most of the time, it's exactly what keeps everyone from getting hurt. So let's talk about how to tell the difference. All right, this episode is getting really long. I have so much to say about this. But before we wrap up, I want to talk about when dating separately is not the right move, okay? Because it's really, really important. And honestly, it's something a lot of polyamory educators gloss over, is that dating separately is powerful, but it's not always the right move right away. Some couples need more foundation before taking that step, and that's not a failure. That's not bad or wrong. That's wisdom, knowing that, okay? So let's talk about the signs that you or your relationship might need more healing before you go exploring on your own. Okay, when there's active relationship damage that has been ignored, if you're still like navigating unresolved betrayal, broken agreements, untreated resentment, if you have communication shutdowns or emotional avoidance or like ongoing conflict, then adding another person, other people, separate or together, is usually putting gasoline on the fire. Okay? Polyamory and non-monogamy reveal everything that monogamy tries to hide. So if your foundation is cracked, dating separately and opening up will not fix it. It will just expose that crack a lot faster. Okay? Another sign is when one partner is using polyamory to escape rather than grow. If separate dating becomes like, I want someone else because I'm unhappy here, or I'm bored and I want out without saying it, or I don't want to talk about our issues, so I'm going to go find someone new, or this is easier than working on our relationship. That is not polyamory. Okay? That's relational avoidance, and you cannot bypass personal growth by adding more people. Whatever you avoid in one relationship is going to repeat in the next and the next and the next even louder. The third sign that you should not be doing this is when your nervous system is too activated to take in new experiences. If separate dating is sending your body into like primal panic, shutdown, fight or flight, catastrophizing, intrusive thoughts, or full body dread, then your nervous system may not be ready yet. And that doesn't mean you're incapable. It doesn't mean you're not poly enough. It just means your body, your nervous system needs more safety before it can tolerate new relational complexity, new expansion. Sometimes not now is very self-honoring. Sometimes it's the step that prevents trauma and allows the relationship to open healthily later. Your fourth sign to not be doing this is when one partner is still acting from ownership instead of collaboration. If someone is saying things like, your desire threatens me, I own your time, you're not allowed to explore unless I get something out of it, your autonomy equals my loss, I need complete visibility into everything you do. Okay, and those may not be the exact words they're saying, but if it's boiling down to that, then that's not polyamory, that's control, with like a polyamory label slapped on top. Um, and oftentimes is a sign of other deeper, bigger issues going on there. Okay. So until both partners are operating from choice rather than control, opening up, being non-monogamous, dating separately will probably feel like a war, right? This might require like, you're definitely going to require inner work, probably some therapy, probably some coaching, definitely some new communication skills, and 100% it's going to require some slow, careful steps. There's no shame in that, okay? Making the effort and the intention to grow is so worthwhile. It's so worthwhile. Celebrate that. Okay. And the fifth sign to not be dating separately, and when I say don't be dating separately, I don't mean instead go form a triad. That's harder, okay? I mean, do some work on the relationship, is when your identity is still entangled. This is really, really common for long-term couples who've never dated outside the relationship. If you're still wondering, like, who am I without them? Who am I if not the husband, the wife, the partner, right? What do I enjoy when I'm alone? Do I have hobbies that aren't shared? Do I even know what I want for myself, not because this is what my partner wants, right? Sometimes separate dating is overwhelming, not because it's wrong or bad, but because you don't yet have a stable sense of self. Right? And it doesn't have to be a perfect identity, but you need enough autonomy and identity to show up as a whole person on your own that isn't just an extension of your partner. So if you don't know who you are, separate dating is not going to clarify that. It's going to magnify the confusion. Okay? I really want to remind you that going slow is it's so okay to go slow. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to pause. It's okay to prepare. It's okay to build your emotional muscles before lifting heavier weight. Okay. Going slow is not a failure. Okay. It's a strategy. So I want to give you uh, the takeaway here. Okay. Dating separately is powerful. It's liberating. Dating separately teaches you emotional maturity, self-trust, autonomy. It also it's also not the first step. It's a step that comes after you build honesty and communication skills and trust and safety into your relationships. Okay? You don't earn polyamory by going fast. You don't become a healthy non-monogamous couple or individuals by going fast. Okay? You earn it by going deep. And deep takes time. I want to leave you with this. Opening your relationship is not a race, okay? There's this urgency that some people have of like, if we don't hurry up and do it now, we'll never have the opportunity again, which suggests that you don't believe your partner or yourself in the conversation that says, we are ready, let's do it. Like, if you don't do it today, tomorrow it will be taken away. If that is a fear, you're not ready. Okay. So it's not a race. Okay. Dating separately is not a badge of doing polyamory right, or it's the only way to do healthy polyamory right. And slowing down doesn't mean that you're failing, but sometimes the most loving thing you can do is pause long enough to build the skills your relationship actually needs to continue to exist and be healthy and thriving. You need honest communication, emotional safety, and a sense of self that is not tangled up in your partner's nervous system. So, if listening to this today brought up some discomfort, that doesn't mean you should push through it faster. I know a lot of you just want to rip that band aid off, but that's not always healing, okay? Uh, there might be some information there that is worth paying attention to. Non-monogamy works best when it's built on trust and self-awareness and your capacity instead of like pressure or comparison or urgency. And going really deep before you go wide is a lot of times what makes everything else possible. So if you're realizing that you and your partner need more support before you open or before you open up again, you don't have to figure that out alone. This is the work I do in my one-on-one coaching program with my clients called Breaking Free from Monogamy. You can find the link in the show notes if that's something that you're interested in. And also, if this episode was helpful, take a moment and subscribe. Like, follow, leave a review, push all the cool buttons, not the bad buttons. It helps more people find the show, and it helps tell me that this work is landing where it needs to. Thank you for being here and listening and watching. I appreciate you. And I'll see you next time. Bye.